That was crazy, but glad we're here. Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday.
Thank you.
Um, First, little plug, real quick. Any of you, Hendricks County, if you'll be at the MyBoard meeting today, I'm going to be speaking. So, 11:15 lunch, and then the program is 12 to 1. Yep, Anna is in charge of that, so she'd love as many people out there as possible. And we're going to be talking about mindset. So, I think it's going to be really good. I'm excited for it. Okay. So, where I want to start with you today is last week we talked about sphere, right? And calling your sphere in the first quarter. And I don't know if any of you follow Tom Ferry on social media, but his whole thing for this year is sphere, 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 right? And there is a important reason why that is the messages coming from coaches and brokers and that kind of stuff. And it's because with AI coming, it's going to be easier for these people to get in front of your people and to contact them, right? And make it sound realer and realer. So you have to have the personal relationship with them. Okay, you've got to have that personal relationship with them because that is exactly what's going to seal that business. Okay, so any of you have a success to share around calling your sphere or a challenge you ran into when calling your sphere? I'm worried we're losing people because of the registration. Okay, there's
Yes.
that. All
I
right.
had a difficult one. I
Okay.
haven't. This was a bad meet. It was a referral.
Okay.
We had a nice meeting, and she wasn't in a hurry, and that's fine. Well, she's
Okay.
looking for an investment property, so I don't just
Okay.
send her a whole bunch of stuff. I wait until I find something that's good, and there's nothing.
Yeah.
So then I go in for hip surgery, and 2 months later, then I catch a cold, and I haven't been in contact with her for 3 months now. So I
Okay.
decided to get in touch, but she has a voicemail that's full and she won't answer the phone. So I decided
Okay.
to write an email, and it was an
Okay.
apology email, just like I would do verbally. I didn't know how else to do it.
Via phone.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
I was groveling, and I haven't heard back from her. So I don't know if it's going to
Yeah.
work. She's moved on or what.
Okay. And you don't know. And
Yeah.
Connie, I'd try maybe one more email and then I'd send the drop dead email. And that's in
Mm,
your script book. And do you
mhm.
remember that one? It's the one that says, "Hey, I haven't heard from you. No problems. I'm going to assume it's either because I dropped the ball and you moved on when I went into surgery, or you've decided not to do anything, or you found another realtor to help you." Right?
Okay.
Just call them out for exactly why you think they might be ghosting you. It's just going to get you there, right? Because
Okay.
you spend a lot of time and energy thinking in your head, telling yourself stories, worried about this
Mhm.
lead, right? Just go there and help yourself.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. The other thing that's going to help that. Okay. So let's talk about this for a minute because how many of you keep a pretty good pipeline? The people that have raised their hand and said, "I'd like to buy or sell," how many of you keep a good list of those people that you watch all the time?
Mhm.
Okay. Kind of, you should. Okay. So here's the reality. 50% of that is going to actually happen.
Hmm.
50%. Okay. That makes a huge difference in the way you attack that list, right? Okay. So I want you all to really think about that. Your pipeline lists are less committal than they ever have been before. So it means you need double also,
Mm.
Connie, right? If half of them aren't going to do something, now you need twice as many as you ever did before just to make sure the ones that do come through. Okay. So that's one thing. Here's the other thing is then when you've got double the business, when that stuff happens, you're not as worried about it, right? You're going to worry. You're always going to worry, right? When you've got business there that maybe you're struggling to get or you're in that limbo. However, you worry a lot less because then you're like, okay, on to the next, right? There's another 50% in there that are going to do something. So let's just roll. Okay. So think about that stuff. Referrals are harder, guys, right? That's not your sphere, right? You're trying to bring them into your sphere. That's a lead you're trying to pull in, right? But they weren't in your sphere yet. That's what you were working on. Okay.
I have another interesting. I'm
Okay.
curious what people would do.
And guys,
So,
throw them in the chat box.
while I was going through, you have to go see different doctors when you get a hip replacement.
Uh-huh.
And one of the doctors, I always spit out that I'm a realtor, and he talked about, oh, I have a realtor and we're trying to find a house and I'm not happy and they don't take me to. And so I whip out a card and say, well, if it doesn't work out, give me a call.
Okay.
Um, and lo and behold, he gave me a call the other day.
Great.
Wow, this is pretty cool. So we're chit-chatting, everything's going fine. He wants to see this house. Yay, yay. I said, okay, well, you don't have anything signed with the other agent, right? No, we're done with her. Okay, well, I'm gonna have you sign one with me. So I fill it all out, send it in, and the wife as well. And they're just texting now. We're not talking. I hate that part, but
Yeah.
they will not sign it because we're not paying any fee. If you can't get the commission from the seller,
Yeah.
what the hell? What is up with
I
that? So
know.
so that
Yeah.
didn't work out because I told him I couldn't. Uh,
Well, I think try to meet with them in person.
yeah.
That's what
Well,
you've got
it's a
to
dead
do.
horse now. They're
Okay.
both doctors.
But
I can't get them together.
okay. So the lesson in that one though, Connie, right, is set that appointment. Actually, as soon as they wanted to see a house, you should have said, "Great, let's meet at my office in 10 minutes," right?
Mm,
Whenever that works. Or 20 minutes before the showing, right? They're anxious to see a house. Well, great, you already have that time. Now we're going to meet at my office first. And then if
hmm
everything goes well at my office, then we'll go see the house.
mm,
Okay? If they won't come to your office, you eliminate a lot of that right in the beginning.
okay.
Okay. So, guys, that's a good one. Don't miss opportunities to set an appointment, right? We get excited. We think, let's go show the house, right? Don't get out of order because it typically never works when you get out of order, right? Do your process the way it works. And Connie, when you have your best clients that it works the smoothest with, you guys meet at the office, you talk through everything, you explain the buyer agency, what the value is. You don't have to have the I'm not paying you conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's exactly why you got whoops out of your
Yep.
process.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Really good lessons to learn. And you guys, I'm sure, are running into this stuff all the time. Okay. So how about sphere calls? Did any of you reach out to your spheres to ask about their real estate goals for this year? Good job, Rachel. Okay, yay, good job. I would love to hear some success stories or some challenges that happened when you did that. And then we are going to talk a little bit more about that until we go into some different topics today. Rachel, you want to start?
Um, I've had a couple that are considering remodels and
Nice.
they want me to kind of come see the house and talk through whether or not they're over investing in their home, if it makes sense. They're talking through like how soon they might sell. Because I said that makes a big difference. Like if you're going to do
Yeah,
something and stay there 20 more years, that's a whole different conversation than doing it and selling in 2 years.
yeah.
So it's brought up like some good talking points and hopefully establishing me in their head as their realtor.
Absolutely. So hold on to that for 1 second. Well, let me ask this question first, and then I'll show you guys something that I wanted to share with you. When do you think they will move? What'd you learn? What is their
Um,
timeline? Most likely. You won't nail it down by exact, but if you had to guess.
Probably over 5 years. Like I think a lot of people might change their minds over the next 5 years.
Absolutely.
It seems
Oh,
like a
yeah.
lot of people I'm talking to in their head, they're thinking like they're staying put for a while.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And that's exactly right. And you're right. As things change, as conversations
Yeah.
change, all of that
Yeah,
changes
life
everybody's stuff.
happens, like grandkids
Yeah,
get
that's
born
exactly.
and they
Yep.
retire and don't have to stay where they live anymore or whatever. They get a job where they can work
Absolutely.
remotely. Life
Hmm.
happens and then their
It
plan.
does.
Yeah.
Well, and that's one of the things that I say, right? When you're calling your sphere, there will still be people you're going to talk to today that have no idea they're moving in 3 months. They aren't
Right.
lying to you. They aren't trying to
Right.
keep anything from you. They literally woke up today having no idea they're going to move in 3 months, right? That's
Yeah.
why you got to
Right.
call them every 3 months. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me show this real quick because one of the things I've talked to you guys about is picking up bricks, right? How many of you have heard me talk about that? When
Hmm.
you're calling your sphere, what you're doing is picking bricks to build business for the future. Okay? So, Rachel, you just picked up that brick, right, of those clients. And this is a visual I made just because sometimes I think it's easier to see it laid out like this, right? And it's something you could use to track your business. So here's the years. Every homeowner lives in their house 7 to 10 years. So this is a 7-year swing, right? And then they could be after. But as you're making calls, Rachel, you just picked up some business for what, 2030?
Yeah.
Write their name right here,
Oh.
2030. Okay? And you're going to stay on them, of course, and then you're going to move them as you need to move them, right? But that's your goal. So now you have another conversation, right? And they say, oh, my son's graduating next year. You put him here. Okay. The other half of this is for your referrals. Okay. Because you should be able to pick up as many referrals also. Okay. But the point of this is, as you're calling your sphere, you want to pick up the bricks along the way now that build your business all the way in the future. Okay. So if you have 350 sphere, you should be able to kind of lay them all out in the next 10 years when you think they most likely would move, right? If they just bought this year, they are 10 years from now. Now, that doesn't mean they won't move in 2. It just means, right, they're going to go out farther as far as what you think and what you're confident to base your business off of. Okay? Does that visual help a little bit? Okay. So, and reach out to me if you want a copy of that. But make anything like this, right? Just make a line on a piece of paper with all the years. And as you pick up bricks for those years in the future, because then once Rachel comes up to 2030, now she's got 5, 6, 7 people she already knew that were going to sell this year, that was her plan. And she's been talking to them every year. So she has a really good idea of who those people are. Okay. So that's the first thing I want to share about your sphere. I think sometimes people they stop calling their sphere because they're not feeling results. How many of you have felt that before? You start getting on, you're like, well, none of these people are moving, right? Yeah, that's exactly right. Okay. And pick up those bricks because they are going to move sometime. Right? So your job is to pick up those bricks and at least the person in your sphere know exactly when you think they will do something. Okay? Here's the second part of that. The now business that's sitting in your sphere is your ability to ask for referrals. Okay? So that needs to be your reminder as you're making these calls. Make sure you're asking them anyone else that I should be checking in with on their real estate goals this year. Okay, so ask those questions as you're making these calls. Okay, questions, comments? Okay,
I was just going to say that the calls have been good for me and that it should be easier to continue to make these calls because they're not as scary as I thought. And I've been surprised how many people were excited to hear from me. And so all my fear and anxiety over picking up the phone and calling these people just totally went away. And now it'll be so much easier to call them back because now I know they want to hear from me. And so you just have to get over that hump.
And how'd you get over the hump, Rachel?
You
might have been me. I know. I'm like, maybe that's nothing.
Me over the hump.
Yeah, right.
No,
she hired a coach. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And right, find that person that's going to push you over the hump. Just get over it, you guys, because stop thinking of it as I'm going to try to make them buy or sell this year, or I need something for them, right? Be their real estate advisor. Right? You're their advisor for the whole length of time they're in this house, whether they want to invest in other things. And you've got to remind them of that.
Yeah.
Okay?
And I'm trying to bring value. I read some book on like, you need to bring more value to people than what they could do for you. And so that's what I'm trying to do.
Yes. Good, Rachel. That's absolutely awesome. And you should, right? That's the reason for the calls. Here's how I can help you. Right? Here's why you have a trustworthy realtor in your pocket, because I'm here for all this stuff. When you have a question about where should I put money in my house based on how long we're going to live here, hello, I'm right here. I'm coming right over and I'm going to help you do that.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what we're trying to do when we build these sphere. Here's the other thing. I've realized from more people outside of coaching, when I say lead generation, a lot of people don't think of their sphere. Okay, that's the number one place you need to go for your lead generation is your sphere. Okay, and it's reaching out to have these conversations. It's reaching out to pick up the bricks. And what we're doing is making it easier, right? It almost doesn't feel like your job to go sit down and for an hour, 3 days a week, like call and say hey to people and have great conversations or send them fun news and they're texting you back, right? You get ingrained in their life. Right? Now you have things to text them about and talk to them about and stuff, and you create the relationship. Okay, so that's what we're doing when you're building those sphere calls. And yes, just do it. Okay, we have this big idea in our mind that we're this scary salesperson that's going to drive them crazy, right? And I guarantee you, none of you are that. And I don't think you'll turn into that just because you picked up the phone. Right? Like the phone rings and you're like, oh, now I'm going to hard press them to sell their house, right? That just isn't happening. Okay. Awesome.
So
What else? Yeah.
I had an interesting experience. Well, especially now, this is the best time to call because you have an easy reason, just
Easy
check out how was
reason.
your
Yeah.
holiday? Hey, beginning of the year, got any
What
new
are
real
your
estate goals?
goals?
Yeah, that's a perfect
Yeah.
thing to say. But instead of looking at it like, oh, I got to make my calls today, instead of thinking about what you have to do, think about what you're going for. Like, oh my gosh, if she talks to me and get an appointment, I'm going to make some money. I'll be able to buy that brand new whatever BMW and I'll be, So think
Yeah.
of the end part instead of the, oh gosh, I have to make a phone call.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
something.
You're right. And right, set your boundaries. You've got to set your space for that. Right, you've got to make sure you've got your time. It's got to be time blocked. You want to start time and an end time, right? But then just call your sphere during that time. Those are the habits we're really trying to build.
And once you get over
Okay,
that first one, the rest of them seem to go easier.
seem to go easier. Yep.
Mhm.
So let's talk about what you should be practicing right now in your role play. Okay, how many of you have good role play partners? Okay, next week I want all of you to raise your hand. Because if you don't have a human, I want you at least on chat role playing. Okay? Get on Chat GPT and role play with it. If it is used to sounding like you, it'll sound like your sphere. It's kind of funny. If not, here's what you should be practicing with your role play partners right now and with chat. Get comfortable asking the question, what real estate goals do you have for this year? Okay, that should be something that rolls off your tongue anywhere you are. This whole quarter, you got 3 months to master this message. Okay, go say it to everyone. God, what real estate goals do you have for this year? It's such a great year. I think it's going to be awesome. Whatever. Practice it with your role play partner. When you're practicing, practice what you're afraid they might say. Okay, so warn your role play partner. Here's what I'm afraid they'll say to me, right? Practice that. Okay, that's your number one thing I want you practicing. Here's your second thing I want you practicing. I'm going to stop share so you guys don't have to watch it scroll. Oh, but it was right on the next page. On the next page, page 24, the go-to agent. Okay, how many of you feel like you've got this one down pretty good? Go-to agent. Okay, this is where I want you to start. This month, by the end of January, I want you all to have these two mastered. What does mastered mean? It means it's ingrained in your body, and all of a sudden that question is popping in your head at weird times. And you're like, oh, I should ask that now. Okay. All right. By the end of January, I want you to have real estate goals for this year practiced down and comfortable saying it. And hey, when you have a real estate question, who do you have programmed into your phone? However you want to say it, who's your go-to agent? Do you have somebody you trust for that? Okay, so it's everywhere. I was just at the dog park the other day. right? And somebody's talking about their water heater, and there I go. And now 8 people are programming my name into their phone because I'm like, yeah, I have the best contractors. Absolutely. If that doesn't work, I got your people, right? So just be there and ask them about what they're doing with their houses. Okay. So practice, practice, practice. All right. What questions, comments, anything you guys want to go over on that before we switch gears a little bit? No? You
I
guys
have a
feel good?
question.
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Good
Um,
morning.
I have a referral.
Okay.
It was through a friend out of state. Anyway, the
Okay.
person lives here. They're about 6 miles away.
Okay.
So I was able to talk to the husband. He's
Keep going.
military,
Okay.
and he's going to be they're going to be PCSing or moving in June. And the wife is on the fence about letting me meeting up with me and taking a look at the home because so he's
That the
all
one they're
for
gonna sell.
right when they're gonna sell. And also I asked open-ended questions, what price you're looking to sell the home. If
Hmm.
not, what's your contingency plan, blah blah blah.
Good. Yep.
So
You
and
pre-qualified well.
well, I use your list, the one for the
Great.
seller. So
Yep.
anyway, so my question is, or the challenge I'm having is, the wife is the gatekeeper. So I can't get in the home, and he can't give me an answer. He's ready to move forward,
Okay.
and I don't know how to get past the wife.
Okay. Have you talked to the wife?
No,
Okay.
she, well, the other agent who referred them to me, she said, don't talk to me about the house, talk to my husband. But they're both
Okay.
on the deed. So he's supposed to get back with me. So I'm following up today when we finish this call.
Great.
Um,
I
yeah, but
mean, and you
I
guys tell
don't know
me
what
what
to
you
do with
think.
him.
You got to get in front of her too. If she won't let you in the house, get to a coffee shop, get on Zoom, right? You've got to be able to
Right.
isolate her objection and find out what the stop is, right? If she's 100% in, then there should be no stop, right? But she's not. Her motivation is not in line with his. And you can say
I think
exactly
she's
that.
more. I think it's more. She doesn't want anyone in the home right now. So
Great.
so I think that's the barrier. She don't want no
Yeah.
one. They
Okay.
just had a child.
So,
She just had a child, and I guess
yeah.
she's feeling, I don't know, worn out or tired,
Yeah.
and
Sure.
she don't want anyone
And
walking in the home.
she's not selling till June, right?
No, he has to report in June. So
Okay.
when
So
that happens, the
when does
military,
she
they're
want to
gonna put it
list
in
it?
the market. Huh?
Do you need to get in there right now is what I'm trying to figure out.
Well, then how will determine the price that he
Yeah,
came
you
up with?
just can't. And you're just going to have to tell him that. Unfortunately, I can't determine a price until I walk through your house. What I can do is what the comps have done, but I can't tell you anything in regard to how it relates to your property, unfortunately, till I see it.
Right. I did a overall the RPR
Hmm. Yeah.
comps and all that, and
Well, and here's
I did.
another idea. If he's adamant about knowing that but won't let you in, see if he'll video the property for you or take pictures of
Okay.
key rooms of things that will affect the value, right? You got to know the condition of their kitchen, their bathrooms, maybe the main. So, say if you can send me some pictures, I can get closer. But I think you just have to be real honest about the fact that you can't get on until you walk through their property.
Right.
I mean, it's
Okay.
just the best we can do for where we're at this time.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was trying not to be pushy because
Yeah.
sometimes I aggressive. Sometimes I can be.
Yeah.
when I need to, but
Yeah.
I didn't want to.
I
I just didn't know
totally
how to handle
agree.
the wife. I just didn't know how to
Yeah.
not handle, but communicate to the wife. I'm here to help them
Yeah.
because they got to get out,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and his home is contingent of being sold. So when he gets to his new duty station, he wants to purchase another home. Well, you can't
Yeah.
wait till the last minute to do that.
Right. And I would lay out the timeline with him, right? And I would say, okay, and here we go. So from here to June, here's our timeline, and here's when I need to know your wife will be fine with me coming in the house. And here's the month she's going to need to be ready to have people in and out of the house all the time, right? Do you
Right.
guys need to be gone by then, right? Maybe that's a plan, but I think get some clarity on the timeline so then
Okay.
you know exactly how you can help them.
Okay.
Okay, because right now it seems like that's a little up in the air. And then once you do that, you can ask her, right, the question, will your wife be ready to let people in the house at that point? Or does she never want showings, right? If she's hoping to sell it without any
Right.
showings at all, that's a whole different conversation of marketing, right? So you got to get real clear with what's her intention here, what's her plan, so you can help.
Right. Right.
Okay. Yeah. And don't mess with a new mama ever. That's for everybody on here, right? Yeah, she is tired, she is done, and she don't want to talk to one single person on this earth about selling her house.
Yeah.
I understand that feeling. Right? So yeah, always let them lead and figure out how you can isolate that objection, right? Find out what she's really worried about. Okay, because you need to get to that point where it's like, all I want to do is give you a better idea on price. So, what can you give me to just help me do that? And then we'll get as close as we can. And
I had
then,
a, let me ask you this.
okay,
I have a female agent I've worked with
okay,
before in the past with the same company. Do you
okay.
think that would help? She's able to relate to her better than I would?
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, you could ask that to the husband. I think she's just not ready. I think she thinks he's crazy. She's not letting people in this house until at least March. So let's not even talk about it. I have a feeling that's where her brain is, right?
The
This is
child
not on my priority list.
is under 1 years old.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
So,
So the house is
and
okay.
a wreck and she doesn't want you to see that.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
exactly right.
I I want to say that, but yes, I know.
Hmm.
So, so
Absolutely. So you just got to understand that, right? If that's the only reason she's not letting you in, no problem, right? I have no problem not walking in there. I totally get it. And how about this, right? Send me a couple pictures. Let me,
Or ask for
hmm
what's been updated.
hmm Yep.
the house
So
is
you
only
can,
2 years old or a year and a
oh,
half,
yeah. So that's the other thing. Not a whole lot has probably changed since.
and it's her
So,
first child. So
yeah. Yeah.
okay,
So there might be
all
crayons
right.
on the wall, but that's nothing we can't mess with.
Somehow you have to make it sound like you're going to make it easy peasy for them.
Hmm. Yep, easy peasy. That's your job. And you want to work with exactly what their ideal timeline is. So why don't you lay that out, right? Just say, okay, so give me what you and your wife think, how we make this happen for June.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
What
All right.
else, guys? That was great. Good conversations. And I want you guys to bring those. Okay. And we can role play them anytime you want. So if you ever have something you just want to role play on these calls, let me know. I'm happy to do that anytime. Okay. All right. We are at 8:59. Any of you Hendricks County people, I'd love to see you today. If you're there, come say hello to me. Otherwise, everybody have an awesome week. Go call your sphere and internalize that go-to agent script. And I'll see you next Tuesday.
Thank you, Julie.
Bye. You're
Bye-bye.
welcome.
Good luck today.
Thank you.